Hey, Elise. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Yep. Just sitting out here on the front porch. It's a beautiful day.
It's pretty out.
The baby woke up with a cough and everything, so we normally it would just be a cold, but these days you got to be careful. So she got to go get a test later. So
I hope the best.
yeah, she's fine. She's happy as a lark. So hey, Taylor,
Hello.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Turn this volume up. Go. Angela,
Yes.
how are you?
Fine. How are you?
Oh, can't complain. Life is good. Sitting in the sun here, so can't be that bad.
I'm sitting in my house. It's quiet.
That's rare. It's a rare moment, isn't it?
Right? Yes. Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even tell you, like my weekend, my mom was in
Oh,
the hospital. My
how did your
both
dad
of
do
them,
with his surgery?
they kept him for 2 extra days. My
Oh,
mom ended up in the hospital. So I had both my parents in the hospital over the
oh,
weekend.
word.
Yeah, my mom has heart trouble. So
Hmm.
she has AFib, so they had to put her in the hospital for a couple days. So, and my younger brother has Down syndrome. So I'm like basically there taking care of him, my kids,
Oh,
making
yeah.
sure everybody's taken care of.
Right.
But my dad's surgery went really good.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, he's doing really good right now. He just can't leave the house.
Having a goat attack here. Our goats are coming up on the porch. These things are like crazy little animals. Go on, Roxy. Go on. Go on. I knew this wouldn't work to sit outside, you know? You just want to have one moment of peace.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
And the animals are like attacking us. Go on. Anyways, I was gonna go inside. Anyways, well, I'm glad that he's doing okay and the surgery went well.
Yes, yes.
That's very important.
Oh yeah.
Good. This will be our guest here.
So then I dropped my son off yesterday to them. So I was like, y'all can have the little one now.
Back from the hospital? Here you go.
What? I was like, look, I need a break.
No, we have friends that live here that don't have any relatives at all nearby, and I don't know how they do it with kids without that support network. I mean, we rely on my wife's family all the time, like every other day at least. It's too much.
Oh yeah.
When they're sick, you realize how much you do rely on them.
You are so right.
Yeah. But I think I'll be ready when our kids are grown and they have kids. I'll be like, bring them over. I want to be with them all the time.
Exactly.
Go, turn your phone off. We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
All my animals are sleeping right now.
Oh, the goats, we have a pen for them, but if you let them out, they will they're like dogs that have no obedience at all. They want to you, they're trying to get in the house, they're jumping up on everything, but they do not listen. Like you can't tell a goat no. They're gonna follow you wherever you go, down the driveway, on the road. They're just totally crazy animals. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Skippy, come here. Skippy, come here. Come here, handsome. This is the cutest dog in the world. Come here, big boy. This is.
Aww.
I never thought I'd be a small dog person, but look at this thing. He's like a mythical creature.
You can't help it. They're so cute.
Oh, he's like a snuggle bunny too. He's such a good.
I love it. My little cat, she's up on me like, oh, okay, let me get right in your face.
Oh, I don't know how we could do without animals, you know? Let's see. Guess we still have a few minutes. Let's see who's all in here. Oh, okay, it's just 4 of us. Okay.
Oops, missed you. Stop digging, girl.
We can't have a cat because I am quote unquote allergic, so works out pretty well. I'm not, I mean, I like cats, but I don't want to deal with outside cat. And I don't want to deal with an inside cat. So you both have
Right.
problems. And I know that who would be taking care of the litter box is mommy and daddy.
Daddy, yeah.
And one more animal to take care of, just not going to work right now. So, well, what's going on at Reinhardt? Elise, you're there at Dobbs?
Who, me?
No, Elise or
Oh,
Taylor?
I know.
Yeah, I'm in the computer lab right now.
Oh, okay. How's everything up there today? When I don't go in, I feel awkward. Like there's something happening and I'm gonna miss it, you know?
Not much. The micro kids are having their lab today, and then we had a big exam. Ecology is meeting today.
Okay.
That's about it.
Was there a guy that over there shooting film this morning? I guess he's coming.
If he was, I didn't see him.
Okay, I think he's coming to the labs, Keith's lab, or maybe Dr. Satry's lab. So.
Oh, what are they filming?
Oh, this is actually, he's a faculty member, but he's gonna do everybody a favor and make some promotional videos.
Ooh, I'll make sure to find him.
Exactly, yeah. Just be like cameo walking by. Hey guys, just
Hey, just coming to check in.
right, you know, no big deal, you know. How's my hair look? But we really need that. I don't know how people hear about Reinhardt, you know, but I don't think that there's a lot of effort made to sort of get the word out there.
It's so quiet. I used to go to Ottawa High School and nobody knew it existed. The only reason I knew about it was because my brother went on a tennis scholarship.
How is that?
I even asked for an application to Reinhardt, and my academic advisor was like, no, go to KSU. And I was like, no, I want to go to Reinhardt. And she went, no. And she printed out a KSU form and gave it to me, and I threw it away.
What? Who is this person? I'm going to call her.
I don't know.
That's bad. You
It's
know,
been a while.
I mean, KSU is not for everybody, just like Reinhardt's not for everybody, you know?
Reinhardt is for everyone. It's for the students.
At least we need to hire you to be our ambassador in the community.
When the groups come in, I always try and talk to them, but they always give me this bothered facial expression. So I go away, but I'm like, Reinhardt really is here for you. You know, they work with you, they care.
You could get paid to be one of those. Well, I don't know what they call them now. They used to call them captains or ambassadors.
I don't know.
Yeah, you should be
Yeah, they're captains, I think.
captains.
Yeah, they're
you'd
captains.
Be a great salesperson.
Yeah.
She would. I agree.
Yeah, and you have the
I agree.
credentials
I agree.
because you know how to speak about Reinhardt because, well, you're a Reinhardt student. So.
Right. So,
There's Carlos. Welcome, Carlos. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Let's see. Oh. Hey, is that Brittney? Oh, I think
oh,
you're.
you're on mute, Brittney.
Can you hear
There
me
you
now?
go. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. It's nice to meet you.
You too.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm sure you're.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah. So, you know, as I kind of alluded to in the email, I think one of our challenges at Reinhardt is that we're small. And so that's good for a lot of things. But I also think a lot of our students' exposure to opportunities in biology comes from 4 or 5 faculty members. whereas if you go to a big school, there's a lot of faculty, you meet
Mhm.
and hang out with graduate students. There's just more goings on, I guess. And so we've been trying to bring people like yourself in to help us to expose students to different aspects of biology that they may not even have known existed. And so that it's really, and actually, I gripe about Zoom, but I think it makes a lot of these kind of things possible, whereas they might be kind of cumbersome for you to drive up to Waleska. So I think it's been a good opportunity
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's great to meet you, Brittney, too. So
You too.
I think we were in discussion last year, right around this
Yes,
time.
we were.
I was supposed to go there to visit, and then,
Right.
bad news.
yeah, it's hard to believe it's just been a year.
I know.
Yeah. So, well, it looks like we have our students here, and I don't want to waste your time, Brittney. So if maybe you just want to introduce yourself and maybe any details you want to share, where you grew up.
Okay. Well, my name is Brittney Ingram. I am the genetics education coordinator here at CSI Laboratories. I went to the University of Georgia. I got my 4-year degree in biological sciences. I've been here at CSI. This is my 10th year. So I came a couple of years after college, started out as a trainee, so no experience whatsoever. And I've kind of come full circle with being able to start out in the trainee program, and now I'm in charge of that trainee program.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And so you're from Georgia.
Yes, I'm from Georgia. I grew up in Marietta, went to Sprayberry High School, so I'm familiar with Reinhardt, 575 area.
Okay.
So I'm
have had a reason to come to the wilds of Waleska at some point?
I've actually been to Reinhardt before. When I was working at Wachovia Bank right after college, we did a little meet and greet up there. So I've actually been on the campus.
Oh, cool. So your background, biology?
Yes, my background's biology. My major was biological sciences.
Okay, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were at UGA, how did you hear about CSI? Or maybe.
So it's funny, I didn't know about CSI, and that's one of the main issues that we have as a biological sciences student. You don't really know what to get into after graduation. Everybody says you need experience when you apply for various lab jobs, but they don't really take the chance in hiring you because you have no experience. You go through all the labs and you think, oh, I know what I'm doing. And they're like, but you need more. Yeah. So I actually worked at the
kind of a circular problem. You
exactly.
Can't get the job because you need the experience, and you can't get the experience.
Yeah, exactly. So I worked at Wachovia for a year after I graduated, and the cytogenetics field is kind of one that people typically just fall into. If you ask anyone that works in it, most of the time they'll say either they went through a specific program at a school or they just fell into it. And so I was a part of the latter group. My friend actually worked here. She was a lab assistant. And she was like, hey, my job is starting this new trainee program. They're looking for someone to fill that position. I had no idea what cytogenetics was. And so I applied for the position and I got it and received a year of on-the-job training. And then within that year, I had to study for the ASCP certification exam in order to become a certified cytogenetic technologist.
So you were at UGA, did you have a sort of area in biology that you were interested in?
Well, since I was in biological sciences, we had so many different areas to focus on. I first began in biology with my major, and then I switched colleges because the biology college just had too many students in it, whereas biological sciences was a little bit more focused and gave more diversity. So when I was there, I was focused on a lot of the public health classes that they were allowing us to take.
Oh, okay.
Public health, I was taking a variety of classes about fungus, and then of course like micro and all the basics that you take, but nothing really informed me of cytogenetics, just the basic genetic classes, but I had no clue what cytogenetics was. So even at UGA, there was nothing to kind of say, go this direction, or here's cytogenetics as an option.
Okay. So what do you do day to day now for your job as it's genetics education?
Coordinator.
Okay.
It varies. So on a slow day when I don't have interns, because typically I have interns from either UConn or Kennesaw State. And so if I have those interns, I teach them the fundamentals of cancer diagnostics, identifying abnormalities with chromosomes, prepare schedules for them to enter into the laboratory, organizing their shadowing schedules. And also I have trainees that I work with. So those are people that come in like me with no experience, and I have to literally teach them everything from the beginning. What is a chromosome? What do you look for? So when I am doing my coordinating duties, that's what I do. But on other days when we're not as busy with interns or trainees, and I'm analyzing most of the time. So I've been here 10 years. So the way we do it is the first 5 years, you're mostly in the lab. And then once you become proficient enough with their analysis, they kind of bump you into the analysis room. So you're in front of a computer all day, every day for 8+ hours, looking at what we like to call little worms. So you're looking at these little black and white chromosomes, trying to figure out what abnormalities are there. And it is very tedious because you're at a computer all day long, staring at the screen.
Great for your back.
They do kind of start to worm together. But on a typical day, if I don't have interns or if I don't have any medical residents, because sometimes we do have residents that are interested in pathology, they'll come here and spend 2 weeks and they'll shadow the different departments. So I'll also organize that. But if I have no interns, no trainees, no residents, then I'm spending most of my days doing analysis.
Okay, so you do get a little variety then.
Yes, I do in my specific position. But for a typical cytogenetic technologist, you're either mainly in the lab or mainly at your desk doing analysis.
Okay, so and who are the customers? These are people that are that cancer diagnosis, and then you guys are helping them to get more specific with the type of cancer and treatments?
Yeah. So our customers are the doctors. So pretty much after a patient goes to the doctor might be alarmed by their higher white blood cell count or lower white blood cell count. And so they'll send us their bone marrow samples. So we're a genetics laboratory. So we do all types of genetics testing, whether it's cancer, constitutional abnormalities, which is something you're born with, like Down syndrome. We do get samples of couples that continue to have miscarriages. So we'll do their genetic makeup to kind of see what's going on with the chromosomes. We also have our different molecular department. We have molecular flow. Like our laboratory has many laboratories within one. So we're able to use all the different laboratories to get all the testing together and everything.
How many people total work at CSI?
About 180. So it's
Okay.
very small compared to other labs. We are a private lab. So most labs have a little bit over that, like Emory has more employees, but ours is a private lab, very small. I think within it we have 4 different departments for our testing. So I'm specifically in genetics, but we do work with the other departments to correlate our testing.
Would you say the cytogenetics is a field that is, if you go into that and you want to specialize on that, you guys and Emory are constantly hiring? I mean, there's a pretty good number of hires within a given year, something like that.
It depends. I know here we hire, so we have our Kennesaw State program, which is the internship that I run. And so we get a lot of our new employees in the genetics department from that internship. So they're here with us before COVID, they were here with us for 3 months. And so we got a good feel of their work quality, their ethics, and if they get along with the staff. And so we usually get our employees from there. But we don't do a lot of hiring since we are a smaller company. But I know like one of the downfalls about cytogenetics is there's not many cytogenetic labs. So here in Georgia, it's pretty much us and Emory. If you wanted to get employed somewhere else, you would have to go out of state, Florida, California, Tennessee. But it's not a big field that you have like a lot of availability, because there's a lot of specialized training that goes into it. And then not a lot of people are willing to travel.
Yeah, so it sounds like if somebody just randomly puts in a application to CSI, that's not a very good approach to getting hired at CSI. Like there's so much more that goes into being there, getting known.
Yes, so we definitely
you-
need someone with a biology background.
Mhm.
We have hired people that had no biology, but they had to start off in our other departments, such as like specimen management, to kind of get an understanding of the workings of a lab. So in specimen management, that's where they are able to see the different types of specimens we get, take them to the different departments, and they have to work there for about 2 years before they're able to apply to work in one of the departments, genetics or molecular or one of the other diagnostic departments that we have.
Gotcha. So what's your favorite part of your job?
I think my favorite part is kind of getting a better grasp of cancer. Like you get to see the different type of cancers that come in and how the chromosomes are affected. You kind of just hear a general term of leukemia, but you don't realize how many chromosomes are involved in different types of leukemia. Like there's just not one specific type. So it's constantly learning the different abnormalities. It's also very challenging. Sometimes it is a day-to-day tedious, monotonous. I'm looking at regular chromosomes, but on those cases that we do have someone with 100 different chromosomes instead of 46, it becomes challenging, it becomes exciting. And then you're also learning like, this is the prognosis for this patient, or if I see this kind of cancer come in, this is what I'm looking for. So I definitely like that, the challenge of trying to identify what's going on with the patients. I also love how it's a small, really specific community. So when we do go to conferences or if we do go to labs in other states, we're able to see people we know. And then, so it's a really good networking opportunity, and you see those people constantly. And so you kind of are able to form those relationships when you do have to ask for things or, have questions about how's your lab doing this or handling this issue. It really helps out. So we have like our own little community to work with.
I'll echo that, and just with whatever research I do, I mean, really, most of my friends are fellow nerds that like snakes, so it becomes your little group,
Exactly.
Yeah. So what do you not like about your job?
As I've mentioned, it is very tedious and monotonous, especially if you're working with a patient with, if you constantly have normal cases, you're just clicking on each chromosome all day, not seeing anything exciting going on with them. So it can be tedious, just sitting there all day.
So the darn healthy people is the big problem.
Right. You should see us, like if we do get a crazy case, we're like, oh my goodness, I have something, and so it's kind of exciting to be able to figure it out, what's going on. So recently, which kind of it helps, we became remote. So a lot of these labs are not able to work remotely. And so up until last year, CSI was not a lab that allowed their lab team to work from home. And so now I'm able to work from home Tuesday and Thursday, which is something, since I said a lot of labs aren't able to do, it was kind of something that turned me off, because the lab work or the work that I do is mostly on the computer. And so I would have loved the option of being able to work from home. But if COVID hadn't happened, then I would still be working here every day. So that was one thing I didn't like. I would like to work from home a little bit more, because when I am here, I'm just in front of my computer.
Right. Might as well be in front of your computer at home, right?
Right, exactly. Also, like I mentioned before, you have to kind of travel in order to be able to find a job. So I have interns that are currently here, and normally if we were able to hire them, because we're at capacity right now, so I'm not going to be able to hire them when their internship is over. So that leaves them the issue with having to go in to find employment in other states. So that's one of the things I don't like about the field, is you have to kind of figure out another area if you aren't able to work in where you are.
Are the skills that they would learn in a training program or internship, are those transferable to other types of situations?
They are. So here, So we have Kennesaw State interns and they learn the basics of cancer. But when they come here, I'm able to show them real life examples of what they've learned. And, they'll work in the lab, they'll do a little bit of shadowing, a little bit of hands-on, which is the basic sterile techniques. So it's the basic lab functioning with pipetting, using the different equipment. So they are definitely transferable lab skills. Even though it is a specified area, they are able to transfer those over to different labs.
I see. How about the economics of working in cytogenetics? So, for example, I in a similar meeting, we had a vet come and he told us, like what's the average salary for somebody, but then the other part of that was how much debt you tend to get into before you like doctors take a lot of debt out, but then they tend to make a lot of money, so it kind of pans out. So without divulging specific salary information, I mean, you can make a decent living working in this field.
You can, and the only thing is that was one of my things I don't like as well. There's not a lot of vertical growth. So you can go to another department and learn something new, but you won't generally get a raise for doing that. It's like a lateral move. Cytogenetics, starting out, you can expect about like a $40,000 salary. And then as the years go on, you'll be promoted to, when you start out, you'll be a trainee, then you will go to be a Tech 1, a Tech 2, and Tech 3 is the highest. So as the years go on, you can definitely get an increase, but you'll get your major increase if you go to areas such as management, or if they create positions. Like they created my position. There wasn't a specific genetics education coordinator. I got this position about 2 years ago. So it is a pretty decent career to be in. You don't, as far as education, you won't incur any extra tuition or fees because you would pretty much choose, like at Kennesaw State or UConn, they choose cytogenetics as kind of a minor. So you wouldn't have to add any extra years of schooling. And then the internship is included within that semester of your last semester. So it's covered in that. So, and as far as coming in the route as I did as a trainee, I didn't incur any extra expenses or anything. So, the only thing is you have to put in your time in order to see those improvements in salary.
Yeah.
So you can, I think the average, especially like, and it's kind of different here because we're a private lab. So we get paid a little bit more versus like Emory or the other healthcare or hospital labs. But I think the average is about 60,000 once you've kind of been here for maybe like, or not here, but in general, for about like 6 years.
Excellent. So a student at Reinhardt, what kind of classes should they be taking if this is something they think that would be of interest to them? What can they be doing during the summers? I mean, how would they position themselves to be successful in cytogenetics?
Basically doing your regular biology classes, paying attention in genetics, kind of getting an idea, feel for your chromosomes, because that's basically what we do here in the cytogenetics department. Cytogenetics and FISH, we kind of have joined forces. So FISH is fluorescent in situ hybridization. So that's pretty much just looking at the chromosomes under fluorescent lighting. So it's where we see the chromosome as whole chromosomes, FISH sees just DNA segments of those chromosomes. So we didn't learn about that at UGA, but we did learn about the basics of genetics, which helps because since it is a specialized field, you can't really, unless you take it upon yourself to research cytogenetics, you can't really learn about it in just the basic genetics courses in college. So I wouldn't say anything extra they would have to do, just you apply your basic lab skills, which is what I did. I took biology, genetics, chemistry, and that helped me because I was familiar with the laboratory setting. So if students were interested, they could, request material. MD Anderson is a really good resource. They provide study tools every semester to kind of break down the basics of genetics or cytogenetics. And so that's what helped me a lot before I started because like I said before, I had no idea. So that would be the route that I would say.
Awesome. Well, students, do you guys have any questions? Anybody? Dr. Santoro?
Yeah, I do. Brittney, so I know you did the cytogenetics, but there's some cell biology there. There are some other areas of research in that facility. Is that correct? So I remember.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, it was telling me it was increasing the time. We do have, so aside from the cytogenetics department, we have flow cytometry, molecular, and immunohistochemistry. We use their testing as our confirmation testing, but we don't cross-train in there. So only cytogenetics and fish cross-train. So if you were to be employed here, you would have to choose one of those departments, but only fish and cyto, you would get to work back and forth and learn those two types of testing, because we work very closely. Whereas molecular, they do their own testing. Like right now they're doing COVID testing, which we're independent from that. And IHC and as well as flow, they're independent from us too.
Right. So, so when you get your interns, they're just in cytogenetics, right? They're not. So how do you hire for anybody in those other departments? Do you know?
So those are specifically determined by those department managers. But a lot of times we have, because our Kennesaw program is actually coming to an end this semester, so we won't be getting any more interns from them. So what we have started doing, as I mentioned before, hiring them in our specimen management department, and then getting them familiar with the lab. And then from there, they can kind of see the departments and which one they like the best. Ours is very hands-on, with me being, I'm the only department with a coordinator. So the rest of the departments, they're trying to develop kind of a similar program, but only the genetics department has something where you can have hands-on training, or you can take the school route or the trainee route. But they're working on it currently, but you kind of have to start off at the basic level. And then once you've gotten your feet wet in the lab, kind of say, okay, I like the way Flow does their testing. Maybe I can, get into that. But you would also have to kind of start off as a trainee there and then take their certification exam as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So it might be helpful in your biology, if you're taking biology as a major, to do maybe cell biology and some other classes with genetics too.
Immunology.
Yeah, immunology. We have a flow cytometer here too, so that would be good experience for a student to get.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So, so that's great. I have another question. Do you ever let somebody come outside of your trainee program, maybe to come and shadow, or just get an idea of what goes on in there? If a few students came by, would you be open to that?
Yes, we absolutely do that. The only requirement is you have to be 18 in order to be able to step into the lab. But I've done several orientations, shadowing type things. Sometimes they're like a couple of hours. Other times they're the entire day, going through your day-to-day process of seeing a specimen arrive, to see which departments it goes to. You get to see the full length of the lab in all aspects of the testing. So we've definitely done that. We've entertained all kinds of groups, from children of coworkers to medical residents to high school students, doing the same thing, kind of figuring out what should I major in college, or what direction can I go in, or other opportunities that they have in the biological sciences, biology world.
Great.
Wow.
You might be hearing from me.
That's so
Putting together a
generous.
group of students. Yeah, that's great. Actually, I've been there and I love I think the facility there is great. So there's a lot going on. It's exciting to see everything. One last question. Hopefully other students will have one. Are there any other students who have one? Because I can wait on mine. Any students have questions? No.
No questions on my end, but I would just like to thank her for coming on and telling us better for our job. I have to go to a lab now, so.
Thanks,
Okay.
Carlos.
Thank you,
thank
Carlos.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I was curious where you get your samples from. So you probably get samples not just from Georgia, probably from facilities all around the country, right? Or
All
mostly
over.
Georgia.
And we are currently, it's been a madhouse these past 2 weeks because a lot of our samples got lost with the snowstorm last week and the week before. So right now we are swamped because those samples are finally arriving after 2 weeks. On a usual week, our caseload, we get about 250 samples. We're close to doubling that, if not already doubling that. So right now we're getting them from Puerto Rico, California, New York, everywhere. We have, we actually set up another lab in Florida. They don't do all the testing that we do, but it's just kind of a port for them to send their samples into us. And then we have couriers that bring them here to Georgia. But we get samples from all over. And then we're constantly acquiring new clients. So we are a very, very high volume lab here. And so we are really busy all the time. We do have our slow periods kind of like in the summer. I had a private question.
Yeah, we got a question here from Elise
Elise?
Marshall.
So for the internship, for Kennesaw State, the internship is 16 weeks, but unfortunately due to COVID, we had to cut it in half. So now they're 8 weeks, but due to the program not being the director is retiring, so we will no longer have Kennesaw as an option for our internship program, unfortunately. But we do have our continuing relationship with the University of Connecticut. And theirs is a little bit longer, seeing as though they're out of state. So they're here for 6 months. So they're able to do an internship. They'll move to Georgia. And then they do their internship for 6 months. And then most of the time, well, 100% of the interns that we've had, we've hired them. And no, they're not paid. They're a part of their curriculum. So they're paid through their tuition. We have relationships with the school where they don't have to come out of pocket. I mean, they do have to, acquire their own living arrangements here if they do come from the University of Connecticut, but they're not paid.
Okay, any other questions? Maybe we have to talk about setting up an internship program.
That's definitely an option. We are available because now that Kennesaw, I think we've had a relationship with Kennesaw for over the past 20 years. So that's going to hit us pretty hard because I'm usually having about 4 interns a year that come through that program, a spring semester, summer semester, and a fall semester. Occasionally they'll send 2 interns. There has been a time where I've had 3 at the same time, which was very challenging. But now I'm down to 1 per semester and they're here for only 8 weeks.
Yeah, we will definitely be in touch.
Yeah, I think it's something we could definitely work out.
What an amazing opportunity for a student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really does help them because over having this position for the past 2 years, I've learned they just get taught the basics. Like, this is what a chromosome is, and these are the types of cancers. But when they actually come here, they see these cancers. They see what a translocation 922 is, and not just know that that's CML. So they're actually able to apply what they're learning, like, really in depth. So they're able to grasp it and, put all that they've learned to work. And when they do take their certification exam, it definitely helps them a lot.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, I think a lot of our students are going to be splitting out of here for their 12:30 labs. And I know that you guys are kind of slammed over there, but just genuinely appreciate your time and, very informative. This is just exactly what I think we need our students to hear. So
yeah. Thanks so much, Brittney.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's great to finally meet you. A year later.
I like to put faces with these emails that I get.
I know. And finally, I'm like, oh my gosh, a year later, I can't believe it. So great. And say hi to Steve for me if you see him.
I will.
Him so long.
Yeah. He's actually right next door.
Yeah, I figured he's probably right next door. I just miss him. I don't get to see him because of COVID now. So
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Brittany. Thanks, students. And we'll talk to y'all soon.
Okay.
bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.